Hello, we are Group 10, and we worked on the Yelp data set to create a visualization for Yelp. I'm Kevin. I'm here with Ashish, Siddharth, and Nishant. And when we looked at the data set, we decided to set out on a very specific goal. We wanted to help users find a place to eat as quick as possible. So, so many times I'm hanging out with my friends and we're all hungry, we're ready to get some food, but we don't know where to go. Either no one has a preference or some people have clashing preferences. So if there is a visualization that would put all of the options together in one quick area, then we would be able to come up with a dish faster and get on with our days. So the first piece that is key to making that happen is our map. So we use the Google Maps API, which provides a very familiar interface with the user, so there's no confusion there. We use the same markers, except we have added colored markers. So you see it goes from red to green, and intuitively, as it actually is, it goes from poor quality to great quality, and that's judged by the review scores of all the reviews on that particular business. So this is really awesome because it allows us to look at the quality of the restaurant and the location at a moment's notice, whereas normally if you search for a restaurant in Google Maps, you'll search for it, you'll see all the markers, and to actually see the quality of that restaurant, you have to click on it and then look at the reviews. But instead, we provide the quality and location at a moment's glance.
Okay, so we've added a pretty cool word cloud for every restaurant. Basically, the system manages review data, and the size of each word represents its frequency, and its color represents its sentiment. So the word cloud given in the slide, say I know how to use a ramen. So in the word cloud, we can immediately see that the ramen is good, which means the ramen, which means it's good. The shumai is popular and yellow, so it should be all right. The octopus is dark green, which means it must be really good. The chili, which is red, might be worth a pass though.
Now, the word cloud is great as it helps us know which dishes to try, but it would be helpful to understand when to visit a restaurant, especially during these troubled times. Enter the heat map, which tells us the number of people checking in at a particular restaurant by year and month. As is clear, the year 2013 was super great for Tempe Tavern, but the visits since then have significantly reduced. This map fetches data from the check-ins dataset stored in MongoDB and uses high charts to generate this super helpful pleasing green heat map. So now you'll be safe this quarantine season and know when you should visit a particular restaurant and also gauge restaurant success over time. Although check-ins are great, we also want to know how people have been feeling about a particular restaurant over the years. Thus, we also provide a super helpful sentiment timeline graph, which provides us with an overview of the average sentiment over time. We collect reviews from the reviews dataset and average the number of stars across all those reviews, as we consider the number of stars to be an accurate indication of how people have been feeling about a place. As is clear, the trend for Ruabula has been fairly positive, where it hit a high in 2015, with 2019 being its best year yet. Looks like I'll be going to there pretty soon once the lockdown ends.
Once the map has sparked some ideas about what's good in the area, we provide a recommender that can help further personalize your search. It finds the top places with multiple categories given as input. As for the recommendation algorithm, we use a nearest neighbor search and boost it up using a KD tree index. We also use a spatial distance penalty to penalize restaurants that are far off from a user's location. In other words, restaurants that are closer to the user and better for his or her needs are recommended over those that are farther off.
Yeah, so this is a very holistic overview of our architecture. The first thing we did was set up a continuous deployment pipeline from GitHub to the virtual machine to deploy any changes pushed to the master to the server automatically. On the cloud virtual machine, we have a Flask server for our REST API and static files. We've also got a MongoDB data store that has all the businesses, reviews, and check-in records from the Yelp dataset. So the Flask application also has two pipelines for intelligent services here. The first pipeline is the SPACY pipeline, which does natural language processing on the review data to extract relevant keywords with their associated sentiment. This is basic for the word cloud piece that you see in the UI. The second is a SciPy pipeline, which converts each restaurant in the database to a vector in a category dimension space. These vectors are basically used for the recommendation system. So all these pipelines are encapsulated by a Nginx server, which spawns production-grade Flask thread workers using GUnicorn. So these GUnicorn threads interface with Flask and serve our static files and REST APIs. The user interface is a single page application with Bootstrap 4, and all the visualizations are wired to the REST APIs and rendered using highcharts.
All right, now that we've taken a look at everything in focus, we're going to go and look at the actual thing working. So this link we'll provide as a file along with our submission of just the YouTube video link, and we'll put this in the description so you can test it out as well. So when we go over to our visualization, you see it's displayed here. The map is the most prominent one because that is where the user will base their ideas off of and allow their interactability from there. So we can click on any of them. Alright, that one's decent green. Here's a bright green. This one's probably pretty good. And we see average stars 4.5. That's real good. So let's check out the word cloud. It's crispy. It's got some good pizza. And we see these sentiment scores here are displayed from that spacey pipeline that Ashish was talking about. We've got the beautiful pop-ups on hover for all of these. It's very dynamic and fluid. Same with all the check-ins, same with the sentiment score that we discussed earlier. Going over to the recommender, so the recommender here allows us to, oops, misspelled, put in a category as a filter, and it will show us different Korean places nearby. Say I want Koreans and burgers. Something real cool is that we provide the ability to search for multiple different types of foods. You know, a Korean place won't typically have a burger, but if two different people are feeling Korean, or two different people are feeling something different, one's feeling Korean, one's feeling burgers, we can put them both in. Then our recommendation system will handle both of them, treat them both as candidates to be returned, and will factor in the quality as well as the distance to make the decision, and choose something nearby, and then the user can make their decision based on this, and we hope the user is able to make that excruciating decision much quicker. Thank you for listening.